Hello and welcome to my Q1 update. Okay, I don't think this is a video I totally planned on doing or even thought of doing when starting my YouTube channel, but I had seen a few other people do this and I feel like I just want to do it, especially as a first-time YouTuber, to kind of look back and see how I've done so far and set some new goals for the future and just kind of update in general. So honestly, this is a video more for me than anything, but I hope you stick around and watch as I go through some of my favorites of the year, my little book haul, and some other fun things that I'm going to be talking about. Let's get into it. So a quick disclaimer, the lighting might change a little bit. I'm right in front of my window and the sun is hiding between some clouds, I think, so it might look a little different. But okay, first we're going to be talking about my overall reading challenge and how many books I've read this year so far. So my 2026 reading challenge is 50 books total. That's what it's been for, I think, the past 2 or 3 years, which I've been able to get. I am very proud to say that I'm very much ahead of schedule. I do think that having this challenge having this YouTube channel has just really pushed me even further to not only read more, but read things that I don't normally gravitate towards and try to be a little bit out of my comfort zone. Not entirely. I think I could work on that a lot more. One of my goals for this video. But yes, but I feel like just overall the channel has helped me just push myself in reading and, really find time for it, where sometimes I feel like I get stuck with scrolling, as anyone does, I feel like. I think that I'm doing a better job of prioritizing my reading. So, all that being said, I've read 27 books of the 50 books that I want to read this year so far. And that means I'm 12 books ahead of schedule according to Goodreads. I don't think I'm gonna push my goal number any further than 50 for now. I think that if I go above that, I'll be very happy. But being ahead gives me some leave room later on in the year to not read as much if that is necessary. Granted, I want to continue reading as much as I can, and I want to still have these really good reading months. So if I can surpass 50, that would be amazing. I just know that come October, November, December, those are like busier months for me as for anyone. And I just want to make sure that if there's padding needed, it's there. But anyways, so I'm very proud of myself. I feel like this past month of April has been a very, very good reading month. I've read 8 books this month, which is my most I've read in this entire year, in all of last year, in 1 month, and probably the most in at least a few years. So I'm very, very happy with that. I will also want to talk about a few standouts from the year, some favorites, and of course, some of my least favorites. First, we're going to be talking about, very quickly, we'll just discuss my least favorites because I don't think we need to harp on that. But if I had to pick the worst books of the year, it would be, Spider the Fly by J.H. Markert. He wrote Sleep Tight, which is a detective thriller, like horror. And then this was very similar, detective horror thriller, I would say. And it just was a mess. That's what I had to say. The plot was a mess. I feel like it was all over the place. The dialogue was very stunted and very awkward and like not realistic to me. Like, I just kept thinking, this is not how people actually talk. And I feel like that is a big pet peeve of mine, where if it's the dialogue just sounds fake. Do you know what I mean? It made no sense. And it was about, let me give you a quick synopsis. It was about this woman who like made a spider web app basically for this serial killer who was like killing women. And it was to like basically it was basically a database to track people who were of risk, so that if they went missing later on, they could be more easily identified. Even that plot alone was thrown in there. I feel like that was not even a bigger part of the plot. What this plot had a lot of was freaking twins. And don't get me started, my best friends are twins. I love them. But like, what? This book had so many twin plots. It felt like in Pretty Little Liars, like when, if you've ever watched it, and also this is about to be a spoiler, but like when Spencer discovers she is an evil British twin, that was his entire book. And it was dumb as hell. Hated it. The next book I'm going to be talking about is actually right next to me, and I have not finished it yet. So this might be prematurely getting hate. And if that's the case, so sorry. And, you know, future me, you know, you can look back and say, girl, you were wrong. So far, though, this book has been so disappointing. And I'm really, really sad to say that. I don't have a bookmark in this, so I'm going to take off the cover because I want to show you partly why I'm sad. First of all, I love this cover. This mint and this purple, beautiful. Love that color combo. And then it's just got the most beautiful fan art. Like, that's gorgeous. And it's got some in the back. I'll try to show you. But the book, actually in a similar vein to Spider to the Fly. Like, so that's really, really pretty. The book, similar to Spider to the Fly, just feels disjointed. It feels like there's so many different storylines happening that, one, I don't care about any of them because it feels like we're jumping around so much to all of them, sort of, that I'm like, I don't care. I don't care actually about any of these people or any of these plots. And what really annoys me too, well, whatever, it does annoy me, is that the main cast is 7 people. 7. That's too many for a main cast. I'm sorry. Unless you're really going to be good about distinguishing them and making them feel relevant, I don't care. Actually, now that I think about it, Six of Crows is a cast of 6. And that was great. An amazing book, obviously. But Leigh Bardugo, I think, is way better at distinguishing tone and voice and making me care about the characters. Not to mention that the plots, even though they kind of had some like individual backstory and plot happening, it was focused on one goal, one thing, which I do think that's where this book is going. Like, I'm in the middle about, I'm right there. So I guess we're getting there, but it's like, I don't know. And I think I'm also annoyed because it sold me on one plot and then it switched, which, to be fair, I reread the summary and that might have been on me. But yeah, so I'm a little bit whatever about that, but I am sorry. Also, I forgot to say this is Masters of Death by, hold on, I just hit my mic. This is Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. I forgot to say that, but I'm sorry to Miss Olivia Blake. I don't want to offend you. I just don't know if your writing style's for me. I'm going to still try to finish it, but we'll see because I really want a DNF. So that'll be my first DNF of the year, I think, if I do that. Anyways, for some of my favorites, I really loved After That Night by Karen Slaughter. This is a Will Trent detective book where he is like, it's like an 12 book series. I read the 12th book too. You don't have to read them really in order, kind of. I didn't. But it was really good. I feel like it dealt with a lot. Similar to these other books, maybe. But in a way that made sense. The crime aspect of it was insane. And sometimes I do think with thriller books, they get a little overexcited and they want to do something super, super crazy. And then it just feels kind of silly, but I think this did a good job. I mean, obviously it was like a little far-fetched. I feel like any thriller book worth reading is a little ridiculous, but overall really enjoyed it. I also really enjoyed Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is the first in like an 8-book series. It is a lit RPG series, which I've never read before. And it follows Carl, who basically gets put into a video game / intergalactic game show where he has to survive with his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, and beat levels and gain like points and clothes and etc. And it was just so fun. I'm waiting to read the next book on Audible, but it is an Audible exclusive. So maybe I'll get to it next month. I'm not sure. We'll see when my TBR comes out. But I want to get to it. It's not so high on my radar because I feel like there's some other things I really want to read, but really loved it. And I think I will continue on the series for now. Okay, another one that I will point out is A Killer Kind of Romance by Letizia Lorini. I really like this. This is one of my first um, cozy thriller horror, I guess. It is about a girl, oh my God. I grew up in upstate New York, and I feel like that really comes out sometimes. But it is about a girl who it does a podcast about true crime fiction books. And then the books that she talks about on her podcast actually becomes real life murders in her town right after someone she grew up with moves back. And maybe there's a connection, or maybe there's a romantic connection. Guess we'll have to find out. And I just thought that was really cute and fun and a great mix of things that I like, horror and romance, which also brings up another one of my favorites, How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates, which is same vein, very cozy, but it's also a horror thriller. Love! And that is about Jamie, who goes on a speed dating event that becomes a slasher. So good. Highly recommend if you love horror and romance, although it is a little bit cheesy, but it's really fun. So I'll talk about that more in my wrap up because I did read that this month. And then last one I will talk about right now is Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. Just finished this a few days ago for a video that I'm posting soon / will be posted already. I loved this book. 5-star romance. So cute. You know what a book is good? When you have me looking up how to change my career to be whatever career they're talking about, which was wedding planning. Oh, it was so good. The romance, the tension, everything was amazing. It follows our main character, Emma, and her ex-boyfriend, Elliot, who dated 3 years in the past. And then present day, they have to work on a wedding together. It's their first time talking in like a year or two. And it is through her present time POV versus his POV of them meeting for the first time 3 years in the past, and their relationship as it grew and then ended. And so good. Just read it. It was so fun. I loved every minute. I loved the wedding planning. I love books about weddings. We'll talk about that more. But those are some of my favorites and least favorites of the year so far. I have to say, overall, I've been having a very good reading month, reading year. Okay, next I'm going to do everybody's favorite, which is a little book haul. I'm going to make this pretty fast. I don't want to like harp on it too much, but I have not made a book haul video yet because I don't buy a lot of books, and I specifically don't buy a lot of books at once usually. I will buy one book every time I go to the bookstore or something like that. So this is accumulative over the past few months that I haven't shown, and I'm going to share them with you now, tell you where they're from, etc. Let's start. This is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. This is actually from a little library. I love getting books from the little library whenever I drop off my own books. I mean, who could say no to a free book? Also, this is really cute. It does have someone's little like stamp in it, which I thought was sweet. I'm going to give you maybe just one paragraph really quickly. Eddie is a grizzled war veteran who feels trapped in a meaningless life of fixing rides at seaside amusement parks. As the park has changed over the year, from the loop-de-loop to the pipeline plunge, so too has Eddie changed from optimistic youth to embittered old age. His days are a dull routine of work, loneliness, and regret. Then on his 83rd birthday, Eddie dies in a tragic accident trying to save a little girl from a falling cart. With his final breath, he feels 2 small hands in his, and then nothing. He awakens in the afterlife, where he learns that heaven is not a lush garden of Eden, but a place where your earthly life is explained to you by 5 people who are in it. These people may have been loved ones or distant strangers, yet each of them changed your path forever. Oh, that honestly sounds so sweet. And obviously I knew what this is about, but I haven't read the synopsis in a long time. This has been on my Goodreads TBR list for a while, and so when I saw it, I had to grab that. Let's try to set them there. Okay, next, I'm so excited to read this one. This is The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bavolino. And this is Gray Flynn has dedicated her life to her mage Kier. She will be his blade on the battlefield, his healer, and his protector. The deep well of raw power inside her is Kier's to wield. They are bound together by blood and magic, but there is one truth Gray dare not reveal, not even to Kier. For Gray is no ordinary magical well, and if she dies, all magic dies with her. I got this in a vlog, actually, I posted a few months ago. I think it was my spring weekend vlog, things I was just bopping around and doing fun spring and city things. And I went to a new bookstore and I got that there. And I do have a video planned for that. So TBD on when I read that soon. But yeah, I'm very excited to read that. I love a good like medieval situation. Okay, then I got this from the thrift store. I still need to like wipe the rest of the sticker off. And this is the complete fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm, which I will not be reading a synopsis. I think most people have heard of this, but I just was literally obsessed with this cover. I mean, let's take a moment, right? I don't know. That's like gorgeous. Also, I can't hold it well because it's so floppy, but I'm like, this is my dream cover. I love it so much. I think it's so, so pretty. I love the little designs. It's a few dollars at the thrift store, so I had to get it. Okay, this is another, I have a few, but this is another little library book. So funny. Well, let me just tell you, this is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. And this book has been very popular. Obviously, it's a Reese Book Club book for a while now, I feel like. And I had never any interest in it until one booktuber, Sarah Crowley, was talking about it. And I was like, wait, that actually sounds kind of interesting. And I kind of want to read it, which I think just shows the power of YouTube, of BookTube, and of talking of books online. I feel like we're just so much more open to so many different things that we normally wouldn't be because we have these people who are, you know, essentially recommending and selling the books to us. And I really love that aspect because, I mean, it's just so fun. Like, it's just such a good community. That's all to say that after I watched that video, I put this on my TBR list and then I found it at a little library. So it was fate. Meet Eleanor Oliphant. She struggles with appropriate social skills and tends to say exactly what she's thinking. Nothing is missing in her carefully timetabled life, where weekends mostly consist of frozen pizza, vodka, and phone chats with Mummy. But everything changes when Eleanor meets Raymond, the bumbling IT guy from her office, whose big heart will ultimately help Eleanor find the way to repair her own profoundly damaged one. I think this is going to be really sweet. And it's interesting because, oh, little free bookmark in here too. It's interesting because it almost sounds like a romance, but from what Sarah was saying, it's kind of not. It really just is more about friendship and about Eleanor and being like learning how to be comfortable with herself and be a little bit more confident, I think, in who she is. And like there was just a few passages she read that I just thought sounded very profound and somewhat relatable to, I mean, to me, but to I'm sure tons of people. And it was just really sweet. So I am interested in that. And I feel like I am getting better at reading some lit fic. So looking forward to that. Okay, the next, and this is the last little library book I have. This is The Strawberry Patch Pancake House, which is a, what is Love Blossoms? Wait, what is this series? This is the like pumpkin spice like series. It's called something though. Like the I just was saying it. Dream Harbor, the Dream Harbor series. Read the first like 3, like Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, the Christmas Tree Farm, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I think this is the next one. And like I said, I got it from the little library. And these are really fun. They're just cute. They're very quick to go through. I honestly love the covers. Sorry, I think they're so cute. I actually don't own any of the other ones. I read them on Kindle, but I thought this would be fun. Again, free. So, and it says, as a world-renowned chef, single dad Archer never planned on moving to a small town, let alone running a pancake house. But Dream Harbor needs a new chef, and Archer needs a community to help raise his daughter. Iris has never managed to hold down a job, so when Mayor Kelly suggests Archer is looking for a live-in nanny, she almost runs in the opposite direction. Now Iris finds herself in a whole new world, one where her gorgeous new boss lives right across the hall and likes to cook topless. Keeping everything strictly professional should be easy, right? Girl, I don't think so. Just my thoughts. Next, another one I'm so excited for, and I love this cover. I think it's so cool, so pretty. I'm going to try T. Kingfisher again. If you've seen some of my other videos, I mentioned that I've tried to read from her and have not had the best luck, but I have been reading her horror. So I'm very intrigued to try a fantasy romance, which is what this is. And it's, and this says, while foraging for Startleflower perfumer, Grace finds herself pursued by ruffians and rescued by a handsome paladin in shining armor. Only to outwit her hunters, they must pretend to be doing something very unrespectable in an alleyway. Stefan, a broken paladin, spends his time knitting socks and working as a bodyguard, living only for the chance to be useful. But that all changes when he saves Grace and witnesses an assassination attempt gone wrong. Now, Stefan and Grace must navigate a web of treachery and poisoners while a cryptic killer stalks one step behind. Sorry, I'm trying to run through these, which is why I keep saying things wrong. But I feel like this is just going to be very cute, very sweet, and cozy. And I've heard the romance is good. And this is a little trilogy, so I would love to pick up the 2 other ones if I like this one. Okay, 2 last ones I have are both ones that I have already read, so check those off my TBR. I just finished this one, The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I think I gave this a 4-star. It was just fun and cozy, and I just need those sometimes, like something not too serious and light, and I love the atmosphere they bring. I feel like they provide such a cozy atmosphere that really sets a vibe. Like I need to read these in spring because it makes me excited for springtime energy, if that makes sense. I'm actually just going to tell you the synopsis because I just read this and I don't want to read the whole thing. It's kind of long. This is about Kylie, who has to escape the city life and return back to the island where she grew up, where she opens a jam shop that also doubles as a illicit spell shop. And there is a very cute romance subplot in this with her somewhat nosy but very caring neighbor. And also we get to hear a lot from her assistant slash bestie, who is a sentient spider plant. This is very cute. This was a no spice romance, if that's something you're interested in. And it was just really fun and sweet. And like I said, the perfect light book to get into a spring vibe. Finally, I have Agnes Obert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett, who also did the Encyclopedia of Fairies. This was a 5-star read. Again, this is a very, very cozy fantasy about a woman who has to leave her animal shelter because a magician blasted a huge hole into the wall. And so she's looking for another place to stay, and she stumbles upon an apartment that might be too good to be true because there's weird things happening, like the smell of pastries, but nothing is in the oven, sounds from the basement, and really good rent, which is suspicious in the part of town she's in, as would it be anywhere, I guess. But yes, this is really cute and sweet. Again, this is going to be another no spice romance, but the romance is so cute. I just love it. I love a wholesome romance every once in a while. Really cleanse the palate of the spice, but it was really, really cute. I loved this one a lot. This was, I feel like a lot of the setting had winter vibes, which was a little disappointing because if you know me, I'm a big mood reader for the season. But I'll let it slide because I had so much fun and it had me kicking my feet and giggling, and I love the cat aspects, obviously. Okay, continuing on before the lighting just dies completely, I'm just going to talk to you about three upcoming releases that I'm very, very excited for and want to put on everyone's radar because they are definitely on mine. And this is going to be, the first one's going to be The Caretaker. Okay, I have to admit, this is already out. It came out today. I've been waiting for it for what feels like forever now. And I'm so excited. I've already started reading it. I'm listening to an audiobook and it is providing the eerie, chilly vibes that I was hoping for. So I'm very excited about this. But this is by Marcus Clearware, I think is how you say name, who also did We Used to Live Here, which I loved. That was I think I gave it a 4-star, but honestly, the amount of times I think about that, I feel like it should be a 5-star read. But here's what it's about. A young woman accepts a caretaking job from Craigslist only to discover the position has consequences far greater and more dangerous than she could have ever imagined. Macy Mullins can't say why the job posting grabbed her attention. It had all the pull of a fisherman's lure, barbed hook and all. Vaguely ominous. It had all the pull of a fisherman's lure, barbed hooked and all, vaguely ominous. But after an endless string of failed job interviews, she's not exactly in the position to be picky. She has rent to pay, groceries to buy, and a younger sister to provide for. Besides, it's only 3 days' work. 3 days cooped up in a stranger's house, surrounded by Oregon's coast wilderness. What starts as a peculiar side gig soon becomes a waking nightmare. An incomprehensible evil may dwell on this property. Macy Mullins might just be the only thing standing between it and the rest of humanity. I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited. Ancient evil, yes. Spooky woods, yes. Spooky house, yes. Person who can't get out of the situation for whatever reasons. Sad, but yes. I love it. I'm so excited. Like I said, I'm already reading it and I am liking it so far, although I'm pretty early in. So stay tuned for my wrap up video at the end of the month. Okay, the next one I guess is already out. I thought this came out in May or like later April, but I guess it's already out. So sorry. These are just books that I'm interested in, I guess, not upcoming releases. But this is Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke. And this is such an interesting premise. I don't know how soon I'll get to this, but I'm very intrigued by it, especially given the current political and cultural climate. And this says a traditional American woman, a beautiful wife and mother who sells her pioneer lifestyle of raw milk and farm fresh eggs to her millions of social media followers, suddenly awakens cold, filthy, and terrified in the brutal reality of 1805, where she must unravel whether this living nightmare is an elaborate hoax, a twisted reality show, or something far more sinister. And this is a debut novel. I think that's all I'm going to say, actually. But this is literally about a trad wife influencer who gets sent back to 1805 to actually live the life that she's kind of portraying online, but like fully, like real life, and you cannot escape it. I think this is going to be so interesting. I wonder about the cultural, like, commentary it's going to make, but also just of the logistics of it. Like, is this a horror sci-fi where she literally is back in time? Is it a reality show? What is it? I'm just very intrigued. So I will be tuning into this at some point. Okay, and finally, this is an upcoming release, so it is not out yet, and that is Kiss Slay Replay by Rachel Harrison. This comes out September 8th, and this is, let me backtrack. This author also wrote Cackle, Such Sharp Teeth, and So Thirsty. No, not So Thirsty. Something Thirsty. So she does like a lot of like creature horror, or like, what's the word? Like traditional horror. Like the Cackle is about a witch, So Thirsty or whatever is a vampire, and then Such Sharp Teeth was werewolves. This one is a little bit different, but there's two things that are grabbing me. One, that is a wedding setting, and two, I believe it's a slasher. I could be wrong. Actually, let's read the synopsis together. Every wedding guest's worst nightmare is on repeat in this. Oh, I hate when they do that. Okay. It's a picture perfect wedding. The venue is dreamy, the weather is beautiful, love is in the air, and Willa Sullivan is having a bad time. She's excited to celebrate her best friends finally having the big wedding they've always wanted, but this is the first time she's ever seen her ex-fiance months, and he brought a date. Everything feels off, like she stumbled into an alternate universe, but things start to look up when Willa meets Danny, the groom's charming and single childhood best friend. When they sneak off together, their rendezvous is interrupted by a masked killer terrorizing the reception. Okay, this is a slasher. Willa and Dana fight. Willa and Danny fight to save the ones they love and survive the night, but the killer is unrelenting. A final girl, Willa is not, or is she? She wakes up and it's the morning of the wedding. She just had the most intense nightmare of her life. Only as the day unfolds, there are some uncanny coincidences that make her question whether it was really a dream, deja vu, or something more sinister. So this is going to be a time loop situation where the day continues to repeat, which, to be so honest, not always my favorite, but I really loved Happy Death Day, the horror movie, which is a very similar concept, except instead of a wedding, it is on her birthday. But I think this is going to be so fun. Again, wedding, slasher, love all those. And I hope and think it's going to bring the vibes of some of the books that I've liked this year already, which is the horror and romance connection that I've been really loving. So who knows, but that will definitely be on my TBR, and maybe I'll read it really late into September, so it's almost October, perfect for spooky time. Okay, and finally, I just wanted to discuss a few overall things. One, that I do have some like goals of mine that I want to work towards in terms of YouTube. One just being, getting better quality videos. I don't have the best equipment right now, and I'm not planning on changing that yet. I feel like I need to be doing this for a little bit longer before I invest anything like that, just because I have a flighty tendency sometimes. So I want to ensure that I'm sticking to this, which I've been really enjoying, and I don't have plans to stop. So that being said, Like I said, so I don't have the best equipment. However, I feel like I need to be better about setting up shots and being more intentional and just having a better eye for things. Sometimes I just want to rush through and get the clip, which is good because I also want to put out content, but I need to remind myself to slow down sometimes and try to get the best quality content, I think is what I'm missing sometimes. So I do apologize for that. Also, just the lighting in general. I need to find my ring light. It's currently MIA, but lighting, trying to use the best lighting possible, and also trying to do the mics more because I feel like the audio quality can be a little wonky sometimes. So thank you for sticking with me during these somewhat unprofessional times, but I hope you still enjoy, and I'm trying to get things out more quickly, and that's why I'm not maybe taking as much time. Also want to try to utilize short form content a little bit more, including like YouTube shorts. I obviously have like a TikTok where I've made videos in the past. There's just something about short form content that is just less satisfying to me, but it honestly brings in a lot of engagement, a lot of new views, and not a lot of new people just, whatever, seeing your page. So I would like to prioritize that a little bit more and see some more of that from me. So my second finally is that I also have some fun video plans coming up that if you would like to leave your thoughts on, please do, because I'm pretty excited about them and I want to hear maybe other people's opinions. But I plan on doing quite a few themed reading vlogs in the future. I have a few ideas in mind where I kind of want to do a vlog of just one type of genre or book and read that, and also maybe do some themed events around that. I feel like I kind of did that a little bit with Project Hail Mary. Like I read the book, I watched the movie, I try to do some themed things around it, and I just had a lot of fun doing that. So I feel like I should do more of that because at the end of the day, I want to enjoy what I'm making as much as I want people to enjoy watching it. So I think that'll be fun. And also, for instance, an example is I will probably be participating in Summerween reading this year, which I'm very excited. I always see it, and I've never participated because it did feel more like a challenge to do for content. So I'll probably be participating this year, and with that, I want to do reading vlog of my Summerween slasher reading, horror book reading, and then maybe do some other really fun, like related activities in the vlog to make it interesting and just to add more value for me, honestly, because I love anything that's themed. So if I can do more of it, I will. Okay, and that concludes the video. I want to say that if you are here watching, thank you so much. And also if you have subscribed to me, thank you so much for just being with me on this journey. I've been having so much fun doing this as a hobby. I feel like I said, it's been pushing me so much in my reading taste and my reading dedication, I guess, just reading more. And I've really loved that aspect of it. And I'm so glad that you are here with me, joining me as I do it. So like I said, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.